Have you ever tried practicing mindfulness, yet nothing seems to change in your life? Stop fooling yourself! The truth is harsh, but it needs to be said. It doesn't work, at least not in the way you might think. Mindfulness without discipline is simply a waste of time. There's a reason these isolated practices fail, and without a solid foundation of discipline, the results always seem out of reach. For many, the cycle repeats, leaving a sense of being stuck with no progress. And then the question arises, are we really living or just surviving? Every day, the routine of commitments and endless to-do lists continues, but the feeling of being in the same place persists. Is this all that life has to offer? Maybe it's time to question the approach and explore what can really bring authentic transformation. You've been conditioned to believe that following a rigid and inflexible routine is the only way to achieve success. But tell me this, how many times have you felt that even when doing everything right, you were still far from happy? Have you ever wondered if there's more beyond this repetitive cycle? What's missing? Let me tell you something that no one else will. The traditional discipline you've learned is imprisoning you. It's made you forget what it means to live with purpose, to move with fluidity, to find peace amid the chaos. But what if I told you there's another way? That you can have discipline without becoming a robot, without losing your soul in the process. Let's talk about a new kind of discipline. One that breaks patterns, molds itself to who you truly are, embraces uncertainty, and finds purpose in it. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent, conscious, and liberating. Are you ready to deconstruct what you know and take a step towards a new journey? Because if you really want to thrive, the change starts now. Not tomorrow, not later, now. And this new approach will show you how. Stop believing that discipline is about martyring yourself to achieve your goals. What's the point of following an endless list of tasks if, deep down, you feel exhausted and unmotivated? Who said that discipline has to be a prison that suffocates you and drains your energy? Let's put an end, once and for all, to the illusion that discipline equals rigidity. Because if you're following everything to the letter and still don't feel fulfilled, the truth is simple. You're not living with discipline, you're living with oppression. True discipline is flexible. That's right, flexible. It's not about never straying from the line or always doing the same things. It's about consistency with purpose, about knowing when to adjust your path without losing sight of what really matters. Be honest. When was the last time you allowed yourself to change course without feeling guilty? Because true discipline isn't about following a perfect plan. It's about recognizing that life is unpredictable and still finding a way to move forward. Real discipline is about adaptation, not perfection. Imagine an athlete training for a marathon. They don't run the exact same distance every day. They adjust their training according to the body's needs, recovering when necessary, increasing intensity when ready. This is smart discipline. It's about listening to what your body and mind are asking for while staying focused on the bigger goal. So, I ask you, are you allowing yourself to adjust your path, or are you stuck in a routine that only tires you out? It's time to redefine what discipline means to you and adopt an approach that actually takes you further without sacrificing your mental health and well-being. You might be following the plan exactly, but if your mind is absent, the effort is in vain. Enough of acting on autopilot. If you're not aware of every step, how can you be sure you're heading in the right direction? Mindfulness, in simple terms, is the practice of being fully present in the moment. It's a level of awareness that brings your mind and body into the here and now, without letting distractions or worries about the past and future drag you away. It's not about emptying your mind or being completely silent. It's about noticing what's happening inside and outside of you and making choices with clarity based on that. But mindfulness isn't just meditation. It's being conscious in everything you do. It's paying attention to details, noticing your emotions and thoughts the moment they arise. It's stepping out of autopilot and seeing every moment with fresh eyes. Imagine this. You're so present in what you do that every decision has more power, more purpose. That's the true power. When you practice mindfulness, you bring your attention with a sharp focus. It's about stopping the impulsive reactions and starting to act with intention. And that's what makes the difference between merely grinding and actually making progress. Without mindfulness, discipline is like shooting in the dark. You might be making an effort, but are you hitting the target? It's mindfulness that adjusts your aim, ensuring that your effort pushes you forward rather than just keeping you stuck in a cycle of repetition. So tell me, have you been living with intention or just surviving in an unconscious routine? Wake up. Bring more presence to each moment and watch your life transform with every conscious decision you make. Let's be honest. What really kills your motivation isn't failure. It's the feeling that no matter how hard you try, nothing changes. But what if I told you that you're stuck in that feeling because you don't know how to recognize small progress? That's right. The real trap isn't the lack of progress, but your inability to notice progress as it's happening. This is where the power of the cycle between discipline and mindfulness comes in. When you combine these two elements, you create a continuous flow that makes every action, no matter how small, generate a real impact. Imagine an athlete training every day. Without mindfulness, they'd only see the big results or the lack thereof. But with awareness, they notice the micro improvements. A more controlled breath, a more efficient movement, a fraction of a second shaved off their time. It's this awareness that turns mere attempts into concrete advances. And when you learn to celebrate these small victories, the energy changes. Each micro-achievement becomes fuel for the next one, and you enter an almost unstoppable growth cycle. This is no exaggeration. It's what separates those who manage to surpass themselves from those who give up halfway. Now let's be realistic. If you only focus on what's still missing, you'll drown in self-criticism and frustration. Most people live this way. Do you want to know what sets those who stand out apart? It's those who can look at their progress and say, yes, I am advancing, even if it's slowly. It's this perception that makes discipline become something fluid, a natural process, rather than an exhausting struggle against yourself. So stop right now and ask yourself, are you noticing your own progress, or are you just punishing yourself for what's still lacking? Without this feedback loop, discipline becomes a heavy burden. With it, it transforms into a constant flow that pushes you forward. Do you want to live stagnantly or feel this contagious energy propelling you further and further? The choice is yours. Stop just going through the motions, living on autopilot. Thriving is more than following a routine full of obligations. It's about finding flow and purpose in what you do. Flow doesn't mean a lack of effort. It means putting your energy where it really matters. Think of water. It doesn't force its way but flows, navigating around obstacles and adapting to the terrain. This ability to mold itself is what makes it so powerful. When you apply this idea to your life, challenges cease to be rigid barriers and become part of your growth. And purpose? Without it, even the most intense effort feels empty and directionless. With purpose, every task becomes meaningful. Every step aligns with something greater. Purpose is what turns a list of tasks into a meaningful journey. It's what makes the difference between a routine that drains your energy and one that renews it every day. So, ask yourself, are you living a life that flows naturally, or are you just ticking off repetitive days? True flow emerges when you reconnect with what truly matters. That's when life stops being a constant struggle and becomes a continuous movement toward what makes sense to you. Don't settle for just surviving. Find the flow and purpose that bring intensity to your life and transform each day into a rich and meaningful experience. True discipline goes beyond checklists and goals. When you connect your actions to something bigger, every task becomes significant. This is the point where practice gains a new meaning. It's not just about achieving goals, but about the inner transformation that happens along the way. Spirituality, not in a religious sense, but as a sense of a greater purpose, is the fuel that intensifies this practice. And here comes mindset. It all starts with the mentality you adopt. If you see discipline as merely a burden, a necessary sacrifice to get what you want, you'll always be fighting against yourself. But what if you change that perspective? What if you saw discipline as a path to personal elevation, a way to connect with your deepest essence? When you adopt this view, every obstacle stops being a problem and starts being an opportunity to grow stronger. The question is, how have you been feeding your mind? Are you focusing solely on material results, or are you seeking deeper meaning in your daily actions? The truth is, without this connection, even the greatest effort feels empty. With a higher purpose, even the small steps become powerful. It's this growth mindset that allows you to transform routine into a path of self-discovery. However, if you don't align your actions with a greater purpose, you'll always be chasing something that seems just out of reach. But when you find meaning in what you do, your practice becomes light, fluid, and you begin to live with an intensity that transforms each day. It's not about seeking perfection, but about connecting with your evolution. So, tell me, Are you cultivating a mindset that sees discipline as a path to something deeper, or just as an obligation to be fulfilled? Choosing the right mindset can change everything, from a mere effort to a journey with purpose and meaning. Let's get real. There's no point in working yourself to exhaustion, training until you're worn out, or living on autopilot without taking care of your mind. What sets apart those who reach extraordinary levels from those who remain mediocre isn't just physical dedication, but mental control. And for that, you need to integrate mindfulness and discipline in an unwavering way. No excuses. Want a clear example of someone who applies this in practice? LeBron James. Yes, he's one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but his true secret weapon isn't just his physical talent. LeBron is a strong advocate of mental health and meditation. He has openly stated how mindfulness practices help him stay calm under pressure, control anxiety, and mentally prepare for the toughest games. He doesn't let his mind wander during critical moments. He trains it. And this is no secret. In 2019, he launched a guided meditation program in partnership with a mindfulness app, where he shared his own practices to maintain focus and mental resilience. Let's be clear, LeBron doesn't become a legend just through physical training. His routine is a calculated balance of exercise, recovery, and mindfulness. Before decisive games, he uses deep breathing techniques to center himself and visualization techniques to see himself achieving victory. This isn't magic, it's practice. It's mental discipline in action. And he has said that meditation is an integral part of his preparation, something he consistently includes in his regime. So, what does this mean for you? It's not just about exercising or following a rigid routine. It's about training your mind to be in control, to find clarity in chaos, and not let emotions dictate your actions. It's time to stop acting on impulse and start acting with intention. Want to transform your life? Here are 3 concrete practices to integrate mindfulness and discipline, starting now. Powerful. Morning routine. Upon waking, invest 10 minutes in focused meditation. This will condition your mind to start the day with clarity and purpose, rather than reacting to whatever comes your way. Begin the day in control. Intentional breaks. During the day, take 1 or 2 minutes to breathe deeply, observing your mental state. It may seem simple, but this is what keeps you in control, adjusting focus and regaining energy. High-impact visualization. Before an important task or a high-pressure situation, stop and visualize success. Not vaguely, but in detail. Imagine how you'll feel when you achieve the goal and what you'll do to get there. This exercise trains your mind to pursue the outcome. If you think these practices are too simple, think again. It's exactly these simple things that the greats do consistently. It's not about doing a lot. It's about doing what works every day. And if LeBron James, with his insane schedule, can fit these practices into his routine to elevate his performance, you can too. Stop living on autopilot. True prosperity isn't just about reaching goals, but giving meaning to every step, integrating discipline, mindfulness, and purpose. This is what transforms a tiring routine into a journey of growth. It's not about the destination. It's about the quality of the path. You have 2 options. Continue fulfilling empty tasks or start living with intention, making every day count. The choice is yours. Will you take control or remain stuck? The journey doesn't end here. Let's keep evolving. Share your struggles in applying the practice and we'll support you, because transformation starts now. Are you ready?